All right, white culture real quick. There can't be white culture in this country, period. There's no white culture. And I think that offends white people because we are always talking about black culture and native culture. And then we get mad. We're like, well, we're a culture. No, we're a race. We're a race that took two other cultures, an entire African culture and an entire native culture, and we oppressed one and we tried to eradicate the other. But throughout all of our oppression and our murder and our rape, they never died. Their culture never died. They kept their religious practice. They kept their art, their fashion, their food, their music. No matter what we tried to do to the African culture that we brought here and the native culture that we stole from, they never died. And that drives white people crazy. So now we're desperate to have our own culture because we can't keep stealing from the ones that we've oppressed.
I've been following a lot of Black creators and listening to their experiences and them talk about what it is that they need. But I think it's time that we say what white people need. Because you know what white people need? Some fucking humility. Humility. Do you know what that means? That means we need to humble ourselves. We need to close this, open these, take a step back, and just listen. Because we have always had the floor.
To all the powers when we were young. At that time, children could not dance. Only people over 50 years of age could dance. Most people do not know this, that the government forbid children to dance Indian. And that was so they could wipe out the culture and the young people, and then finally the new generation would never know what happened, never know what happened.
Don't you even know how to be a real Indian?
I guess not.
Well, shit, no wonder. Jeez. I guess I'll have to teach you then, ain't it?
Unilateral agreements between two sovereigns, meaning that it was indigenous people here and the U.S. government, and it was equal. We still retain that. The other way that it's supported and retained, even though the U.S. government.
So recently, I've been seeing a lot of attacks on the indigenous community on this app about whether or not we were the first people on this continent. These attacks have resulted in racial slurs being thrown at some of my indigenous brothers and sisters. These conspiracies continue to invalidate the lives of indigenous community. They invalidate the millions of deaths of our ancestors. They make us invisible. Our resilience, our strength, our voices only grow stronger from these attacks. We do not tolerate and will not tolerate any more injustice to our people. I need anyone that is indigenous, an ally, or just decent human to duet this post. Make it a change.
You cannot be illegal on stolen land. You cannot be illegal on stolen land. Can't be illegal on stolen land. It can't be illegal on stolen land. You can't be illegal on stolen land. Just in case your dumbass forgot, you can't be illegal on stolen land.
We have to interact with comments where some girls actually try and claim that they are models and they have indigenous lineages. If you're proud to be indigenous, be proud of honoring truth and history.
They don't learn. How would you feel if I painted myself black? Or painted myself white? And was just like, hey, look at me, I'm white for Halloween, I'm black, or something like that. How would that make you guys feel, huh? But I ain't doing that because I got respect for your guys' culture. And I got respect for you guys' race and stuff like that. That's fucked up, bro. But you treat us like this shit, bro. That's fucked up.
Oh my freaking god, white people doing the haka? What?
Anyway, what a great opportunity to talk about how whiteness is devoid of meaning and therefore must steal everything in its path to make up for the place that once held its soul. I don't care what color skin you have, everybody belongs somewhere and everybody has a people that they belong to. Return yourselves to them. Return yourselves to your own shit and stop violently stealing things from others. And take a minute to report as many of these videos as you can. Thanks.
Indigenous America, every single bill and law the United States passed regarding indigenous health and wellness, land and sovereignty, has been illegal from the start. We've been trained to think that these bills were made to help us, when really they were made to assimilate us, make us American, and take away our rights as sovereign nations.
Only 158 years ago, on this day, December 26, 1862, Abraham Lincoln ordered 38 Dakota men to be hung in Mankato, Minnesota. 2 days after the U.S.-Dakota War, in September of 1862, U.S. military commissioners tried 392 Dakota men, 303 were sentenced to death, and 16 were sentenced to prison. Abraham Lincoln thought he was doing a service by shortening the list, but he still sent 38 names of Dakota warriors to be hung. This is considered the largest mass hanging in U.S. history, and it was only 158 years ago. This is known as Dakota 38 plus 2 because 2 men were wrongfully hung, and then later on they hung 2 more. 40 Dakota warriors died at the hands of U.S. soldiers and Abraham Lincoln. Today is a day to remember those who died so that we could be here today.
Here are all the things that I'm going to be bolting on to Mr. Black Headdress over here. So at my feet, we have a bundle of black dyed rooster feathers. Some of these. Yeah, the studs came out better than I expected to.
Hi, I don't know you, you don't know me. My name is Marie Prince. I'm Dekel Sekene from Interior BC, Interior British Columbia, Canada, Canada. I wanted to ignore you and your lame content, but what I can't ignore is the Native youth on this app. And we're working so hard in this community to make them proud of who they are, proud of their identity in the face of racism, systemic racism, violence, constant violence against women, against men from our police. And what you're doing is making a mockery of their culture. What you're doing is cultural appropriation, and we're not going to stand for it. Native TikTok's not going to stand for it. You need to get off this app, and you need to be held accountable for what you're doing, and stop fucking trying to sugarcoat it.
I am proud to be Indigenous because in 1884 it was illegal to practice ceremonies. I am proud to be Indigenous because in 1894 residential schools erased our history. I am proud to be Indigenous because in 1925 it was illegal to dance. I am proud to be Indigenous because we are still here.
Speaker, sounds like a most important relationship, doesn't it? Why doesn't the Prime Minister just say the truth and tell the Indigenous peoples that he doesn't give a fuck about their rights?
You're dealing with warriors, not hippies, you're still political piggies. So the devil, oil, and China are cities. You got us packed in your prisons and you split up our children. Who you think you're kidding? You know who killing our women, but you just rape and just pillage like it's a Vietnam village. And you keep it a secret, I think it's time we reveal it. Native girl go missing, don't make news for a week. White girl gone for a minute and the whole world freaks. I think it's time that we talk about it. Let's talk about it. Hey Trudeau, let's talk about it. It was cute, you going res to res, dressing up. When you needed our vote, looked like you gave a fuck. But you don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck. Hey Trudeau.
Viking women did wear braids, but they looked like this.
Literally, all I had to do is look up historical Viking braids. Like, Viking woman. Whenever you guys are like, Viking women wear braids, like, do you think that they looked like this? Like, did you think that they were wearing, like, hair from the beauty store? Did you think they were going into battle like this? And don't pull none of that. Don't tear other women down. Don't bring down other women. Some women need to be brought down. Some women need to hear some criticism. Some women need to be insulted until their behavior changes. It's just like white women have had their feelings coddled for like centuries, that anybody, like anyone speaking to them the way other women of color, queer women, all them are spoken to, like how could you say that? Women must support women. Women support women. No, because you don't support all women either.
I would like to talk to the white people, please. We got some things to talk about because y'all are giving us a bad name. We already have a pretty bad rep, if you hadn't noticed. So when black creators come on here and tell you that you don't have a functional white culture in America, you don't. It's not an attack. It's just a fact. Stop being so goddamn defensive. There's no reason for it. Did you ever think for a second that they're saving us a massive embarrassment? Because there's nothing to be proud of in being white and American, okay? There's a lot that you can be proud of in being Swedish or Irish or Norwegian or French, because those countries weren't founded on stealing culture for hundreds of years like we were. Are you proud of the KKK? Because that was us. Are you proud of slavery? Because that was us. Are you proud of genocides to Native American tribes in the lands that you actively still sit on? Are you proud of stealing land from the ones that do exist and denying them clean drinking water? Are you proud of calling the police on black people knowing they can be shot on sight? Are you proud of the fact that white people make up that same police force shooting black people on sight? Are you proud?
And the greatest lie that they continue to propagate is that somehow our people must have been savages who didn't know anything better. They want to say that we were just running around having wars and keeping slaves, and they'll come on our posts using these lies to justify slavery and genocide all across the world. When the truth is, our beliefs, our spirituality was far more advanced. We had healing techniques, we had methods to communicate directly to the source.
I'm kind of curious, what is the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
Like, oh my gosh, like, what are you? What do you mean? Like, what ethnicity are you? Are you, like, Samoan? No. Oh, come on, please tell me. Like, are you, like, Hawaiian? No. Are you, like, Mexican? Oh, hell no. Come on, please tell me. You're really pretty. I am indigenous. I'm Native American. I'm native to California. We are in California with this conversation. Wow, like, oh my gosh, that's so exotic. In California, there are in excess of 250 languages, 250 distinct cultures and communities. Becoming familiar with these nations, these peoples, is so very important.
Coast Miwok,
Bay Miwok,
Karkin,
Chichenyo,
Tanian,
Ramatush,
Aswaswas, Ramsian,
Chalon,
Salini,
Yokut,
Esalen.
Those are just a few of what we recognize Central Coastal California, Bay Area.
This album was recorded on a lonely land with our community. This album was recorded on a lonely land with our community, you.
You are powerful.
You are brave.
You're brilliant. You believe me.
You ask questions.